Ooh, ooh.
This is like what happens when you do it right. See how, like, it's like a transformer figure, like the action figures when we were kids. And it just goes back to like a normal figure, but then like you can go boom.
We've been filming the whole day for this episode about me doing beef ribs and then the sides too.
I'm Kyle Johnson. I'm a professional photographer, amateur pitmaster, and today we're going to be smoking a couple plates of Texas beef ribs, and this is for the real ones.
Yeah, you're right. I've lived in Seattle for maybe 9 years now.
Yep.
We met, but then after talking about food, we started talking about, you know, what's your dish? Like, what's the thing that you're, and you came out with beef ribs, and it threw me off because I love Seattle, but I never encounter the beef rib.
You're from Texas.
And that's all I know.
Yeah. And I'm not from Texas, but there's just something about Texas barbecue that when I experienced it for the first time in Austin and in the same trip, Lockhart, which for those who know, is
institution.
Arguably the institution of Texas, that if you have never had Texas barbecue, Lockhart's high up there.
And so the Texas thing is major for me, man. I'm really excited about this. This will be the first episode of For the Real Ones that is about arguably my favorite barbecue cut, the beef rib. The beef rib would be a more popular cut if it was readily available more.
And that's one of the things I really like about doing it in Seattle is, like, we talked a little bit about this at the shop, but you can't find those plate ribs at 98% of the stores, and that's not even an exaggeration.
And if you do, they cut them thin like short ribs.
They cut them like Korean short ribs, and they cut individual. So
drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah, and I've tried smoking those individuals, and you can smoke them, but you're not going to get that Texas bark because they cook too quick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need
uncut plates, which is 4 ribs. Some guys do a 3 rib cut. Shouts to Mueller, which is legendary Texas spot, Wayne Mueller.
Yeah.
I actually got to meet him. Jack from Seattle, one of the only decent barbecue spots we do have, brought out Mueller, and he did beef ribs, and everyone got to try a little nugget, not a whole rib.
Right.
But after trying Mueller's ribs, he's a 3-bone guy, but equally epic ribs. And yeah, so when I found Better Meat Co., this haven in my own neighborhood, I couldn't bring myself to shop anywhere else.
I agree.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you doing?
Good, yeah.
Not bad.
Good, man.
Gonna be doing some beef ribs, I think.
Cool. Nice ones.
I like that.
We got a nice cowboy chop. Technically, a little meatier than those are a little meatier.
Right.
But these are them right there. Yeah, right off the ribeye.
In Texas, beef ribs is kind of like the once-a-week specialty item that it's too big and too expensive to do every day, but it's probably the most decadent smoked piece of meat if you ask me. So that's my personal favorite to make for people because it's always a hit.
The reason I like beef ribs is 1, everyone can do pork ribs. 2, people don't understand beef ribs because they're not served.
You don't see it often, yeah.
So most people just go for the brisket.
Yeah.
But I personally think that you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You get that same brisket type of vibe, but you get
Yeah.
the whole bone on, like
bone on
rib
beef.
right, you know?
It's
So,
it's
like,
yeah.
it's just like
It's almost it's almost the perfect combo of brisket, a ribeye, and a rib.
right.
Like
it's
all in one.
Exactly.
Pay homage to our co-host who's not here.
Nice.
We'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
All right, so I like to do a very light yellow mustard slather. You could use anything liquid-wise. You could use a little
mustard.
But I like a little simple deli mustard.
No Dijon.
I feel like a little bit of that sugar, something about it.
No Grey Poupon.
It's less about flavor and more just about making that rub stick.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So rubs, I mean, there's a million types of different rubs for different barbecue styles. I like the Texas style, which is arguably 50-50 or 60-40 black pepper and really good salt. I'm using Jacobsen salt, shout to Ben Jacobsen. Personally, I think it's the best salt you can buy in America, let alone maybe the world.
Yeah.
But made in Netarts Bay in Oregon. And I mix that with a nice coarse black pepper. And then we're just gonna be pretty liberal. I think the pepper helps get a nice bark, so the more the better, if you ask me.
I mean, well, it also helps with color as well.
All right, so when I'm smoking meat, I definitely have learned that the wood obviously makes a huge difference, both the lump charcoal and the actual.
It's only lump. It's
Well-
only lump charcoal, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to use the good lump. And this stuff is kind of a new find for me, but it's oak, which is like the Texas standard, hand-picked pieces. They burn low and slow.
So they're big chunks.
This is where that smoke flavor really comes.
Yeah.
Quality pecan. Baseball size.
Dude. This is perfect. This is my childhood.
Right there. All right, guys, we're up to temp. I'm gonna throw these on now. The bone side down, obviously.
Membrane side down.
Nice. Yeah, those are some big boys. All right, let's close her up.
I like that you guys are instantly here for the whole day, because that's what a barbecue is to me. And that's what Texas, North Carolina, that's the tradition there. And in Seattle, that's not a thing.
No.
You invite fools to a barbecue here and they show up right when you say to come. And it's like half the fun is hanging out, drinking whiskey, cooking, talking, spritzing.
Right.
That tradition of barbecue isn't a thing here, and I wish it was.
You know, the reality of it is it's not ingrained in the culture because it wasn't culture
Here.
Yeah. You know, in Texas, it's like half the reason why you sat around and drank whiskey and you barbecued is because, first of all, let's be honest, a lot of the cuts that were selected in the barbecue class
We're cheap. Yeah.
cheap cuts.
Cheap cuts.
And not cheap because of price, cheap because of the people who determined the value of that cut wanted cuts that took less time to cook. But those things, when you go low and slow,
they come to life. But yeah, that tradition of hanging out all day is just what I've experienced when I've been in the South and Texas, North Carolina, and I feel like I want to try to implement that more in people in Seattle, realizing that that's what a barbecue can be.
Also in North Carolina, there's people, they're like weekend warriors. They have a little spot, and a lot of times it'll be on a Saturday and you'll see a line of people, and a guy he'll roast, like he'll smoke like 2 whole hogs.
Dang, just like at a spot.
And then like 50 chickens, a bunch of sausages, and you'll see a line of people. You'll see people sitting on coolers, throwing footballs, hanging out, and then like Virgil, like who's like a mechanic, but on Saturdays he does this whole deal. He makes a little money on the side, and he just does because he loves it.
I mean, first of all, feeding people well is a great feeling.
I have that host thing in me. There's something about it. My favorite part.
Do you know who it came from?
Family.
It's passed down. There's always a host in every generation, at least one.
Yeah. I think my mom's definitely the host.
Okay. You got to be able to like identify that.
I can identify that. She's always enjoyed hosting big barbecues, big cookouts.
Yeah. Yep. That would be my dad.
Cool.
My dad was
He instilled it.
My dad was when we were at Costco or whatever, or we go to the local butcher, my dad was always like, he would always do those 1 or 2 extra items, and I'm like, do we really need that? And he would give me the look like, you know I'm gonna call some other people to come over, Seth.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not just gonna be your family, yeah.
As a matter of fact, let me get 2 more of those racks.
So I'm skimming all, this is all the foam, this is all the gas that's rising up from the beans. This is all the stuff that makes you toot.
This shit is makes you toot.
Yeah.
Beans, the magic.
Once you have a spoonful of it,
the more you eat,
the more you toot.
the more. So this is the toot.
Yeah.
This is the toot. You would have known.
Oh yeah. Nice and upside down. Oh my god, look at the fat on that.
Yeah, dude, that thing is.
It wants to come off.
Wow.
All right, we're gonna throw on the second protein of the day, another Texas favorite. We got pork, house-made jalapeno cheddar sausages. We're gonna smoke these for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half tops. Keep an eye on them, and when they start getting oozy, give them one more spritz, wrap them up, good to go.
We're here.
All right, for the main event, we're gonna start with the sausages.
Yeah.
Check those out. Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are perfect.
Jalapeno cheddar, falling apart. Throw those in here. For the photo.
So those are good.
Those are great.
We'll just let those ride out.
And now for the main event.
The real main.
And we got these going, or Kyle got these going on at 10 a.m., right?
10 a.m.
I deemed it the one. That's the one. Ooh. Ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's just falling off the bone.
It's gorgeous.
A cold grilled potato salad with garden chives and a little bit of a dressing. Mike's beans, tell me about those.
Yeah, we got some heirloom beans from Ranger Gordo Farms in California. Started them off with some bacon, onions, garlic, tomato, Worcestershire, mustard, coriander, cumin, celery.
It's out of control.
It's like a whole bunch of stuff in there. Apple cider vinegar. I threw half of that beer that you brought in at the end there just to give it some little more depth.
That's rendered through.
Yep.